Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to RealLifeOORA. Now in this episode, we're doing the Tic-Tac-Toe tutorial part 2. We're going to be working on actually creating this board right here. Now, in case you guys have not seen part 1, bam, it's in the upper left-hand corner for you guys. You guys can go ahead and check that out if you have not seen it. And so let's just jump right into this. You'll notice I'm still on PC because I'm trying to get better recording equipment for my Xbox, but until then, I can just quickly and simply make it on the PC because everything is exactly the same for the Xbox. So if you remember in part 1 of this, we built these segment displayers right here. Instead of them going ahead and creating numbers like 0 through 9, we created X's and O's. So you can notice, like, this is the one that we made right here. You can see the different pieces of it, and this is the one that was already built. And you can go ahead and you can switch these out. Now, in the last video, I was also talking about how we're going to make these inverted. So basically, right now, what we have them set up like is they're actually pushing the block out. The sticky piston you see is powered and it pushes out the block. Well, that's good and everything, but when we have a board like that, which I'll get to in a second, it's going to be a little bit hard to see. So instead of pushing it out, we're going to actually have everything retract and everything, like all the blocks are normally going to start pushed out. We're going to pull in the ones that we want to see, so it basically stands out a lot better. Now back here I'll show you this. This is actually what a few of them look like. Now I know it looks pretty intimidating, especially if you're not used to doing too much redstone. However, it really is a lot simpler than it looks, and you guys will figure that out. You probably already found that out from when we were building those things. They definitely look pretty intimidating to a new beginner, but then, you know, when we actually started building them, they made sense. You know, you connect redstone where you think you connect redstone. So let's go ahead and let's get started. First, I want to go ahead and show you guys the board. Now this board is actually 7 by 8, I believe. I'll go ahead and give you the dimensions in case I mess up. But there you go. This is the board, and basically you're going to have exactly a tic-tac-toe board. So there's actually there's 9 spots for you to actually have a board, for you to be able to have an X or an O. So if we go ahead over to this side, I can quickly show you, then I'll get back to talking about that. I'll show you the whole concept of pulling out the pistons instead of pushing them in. I'll just have an X and an O display, then I'll continue talking about this. So basically you can see right here that an X and an O are both pulled in, and those stand out a lot better than if they were just pushed out. You can see them at different angles, I think, a lot better. Also, you'll notice that the actual dividing sections, the thick one running vertically is actually too thick, deep, which is actually pulled back just like the pistons that we're going to be pulling back, and the horizontal ones are horizontally split, but those only have 1 block. It works a lot better for the actual spacing and everything like that. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to get into how you guys build these. So like I said previously, it's pretty simple to build those simple nodes back there, and all this stuff is at the end of this is just a connector. So like I said, we're gonna have all these things powered all the time, so they're gonna be pushed out. These end pieces right here basically allow us to go ahead and send an alternate path. So for example, I have an X right here that I just powered. So when we place a torch here, it sends a signal to all the various parts that actually power an X. So say if these torches weren't here and we have it just like that, it only push out the X. But we wanted them inverted, so we have a torch there, which goes ahead, runs to each one of these sections that create the X. You'll see here they invert the torch that's normally powering it. So instead of it being like all the ones being not powered and that one being powered, this one is unpowered and the rest are powered. So it's just a pretty simple little thing, okay? So let's go ahead and let's get started making this. So you'll notice right here, we're going to start on this one. This is basically just the distance that I have it back. You do not really have to have a certain distance for it to go back. You'll basically find that out once you actually start building it. And also, all these don't actually have to be the same. You just want to get across the same idea. I have them all the same, more or less, just so it's easier for me to connect up, and I recommend you guys do that because it's a really good tactic when building. But let's go ahead and let's actually start making the initial thing like we had before. So notice here, this is our 2 vertical piece. There's going to be 1 space, and then we start our thing of pistons. So we're going to have this 1 space there, so the pistons should start right here. So let's go ahead and let's just place our 6 by 6. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you'll notice, whoa, wait a minute, isn't there a space? Yes, but that's counted in this border piece right here, which is, it's actually a little less confusing than you may think it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then all the way down. Get those corner pieces. And I'm going through this pretty quickly because I've already showed you guys how to go ahead and make these. So if you're still a little confused, you can either pause the video whenever I'm not making sense, or you can go ahead and simply rewatch the first video because I explained that a lot more in depth for that, okay? So do whatever makes sense for you. Let's just go ahead and make sure we get all these. And do not worry about any spaces or gaps that we have. We'll fill those all in later. So I'll show you guys that in a second. So the first thing, obviously, is we're going to go out 4. Out 4. And then 2 just like this. We can place the torches on either side. Then we go 2 more like that. Got to take our repeaters, place them all along the side. Grab our redstone, connect it all up. And there you go. You can see that all these bottom row are pushed out and actually flush with the rest of the area that is actually pushed out as well. So it's flush with the board and everything like that. So that's good. Now we need to go ahead and we need to make the next layer. So let's go ahead and just place that like that. And add some redstone on top. Make sure we grab our repeater there. Do the exact same thing on the other side. Redstone, repeater. Now just to make sure and check, yes, that all those are pushed out correctly, so good. It's always good to go ahead and check and make sure that everything is good, because you don't want to, mess up or anything along the way, which would be kind of upsetting. I'm just going to go back and just check and make sure it's actually one longer than we have the bottom sections. Okay, that's all good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is how many it is. You want to connect these pieces. And then connect those. So we're going to have our torches right here. Our repeaters here. And this is an awesome point to go ahead and actually show you this to you guys. So basically, you're going to want to be careful when you place the repeaters in the certain place that you do. So wherever I place a repeater, make sure you place a repeater and not some redstone. Because if I were to actually place some redstone, well, right there wouldn't matter. But right here, it would connect to this and there would be interference. So that would power when you do not want it powered. So go ahead and just place your repeaters exactly where I'm placing them so we minimize the amount of interference that occurs, or else we could be in some pretty big trouble. Let's go ahead and place these over here and connect it right up. Perfect. So that's perfect just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and build the next layer, which is right on top of here. Pull these back. Oh, actually, no, I apologize. We don't need torches there. That's why we have the torches directly underneath there. Perfect. Okay, pull that over. Now, right here, we're going to need our repeaters. Perfect. Pull these out 4. Oops. And then 2, 2, 2, and then 1. Pull these all the way across. Redstone and redstone. Now we should have all these pushed out just like this. Now you can notice it's the same like pushed out as the other ones. So let's go ahead, let's set time to 0 so you guys can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to go ahead and now we can fill in the gaps that we see. Now make sure you not fill in over here because this is the part of the divider, so we're going to leave that empty. We're just going to fill in the spaces that we can see like blocks behind it. And there we go. So this is our corner piece, right-hand corner piece. And if I go ahead and I actually pull out a few pieces, like say I actually take out the corners and the middle bit, I believe. So these 2 points. This should give us our X. So that's exactly what it looks like. It goes ahead, and you may have been thinking that should have given us an O, but no, it gives us an X because we were talking about the same idea of the reversed one. So basically, we're going to have power units coming in here that go ahead and invert these torches as if there was no torch there. Okay, so let's go ahead and just place these back because we're not going to be wanting to break them, when we have our thing going. So let's go ahead just like that. Now you can see over here I have a bunch of ones that are just normal normal wool color or iron block cover or whatever color you're using. However, up here you can see this other one. This is color coded. This is a nice thing to do and a good habit to get into when you're doing a lot of intricate redstone. It may not be so awesome when you're doing a simple thing like this. However, it's still nice going ahead and just keeping track of what's what. So you can see the X's, all the things that happen to invert the X are in red, and all the things to invert the O are in blue. So it really keeps good track. So I'm going to actually do that for you guys just so you can see and be sure that you're doing everything correctly, okay? So right here, we're going to just place some redstone that lines up right here, and I'm going to take a sign and just call this X. It's a good thing to label, especially when we go later. So basically we know that when we put a torch here, it'll invert, or not a torch, but later on either a torch or have a redstone signal coming in when someone pulls a button or pulls a lever and pushes a button. It'll give you a signal here. So let's go ahead and let's just quickly sync this up. Now up here we're going to go to the very top ones, and we're going to go down 1. Then this is going to be 2, and then this is going to be 3, and then from there we just go diagonal, diagonal. So the same on the other side. Diagonal 1, diagonal 2, diagonal 3, and then just diagonal until you reach the bottom. Now we can go ahead from here and we can just link this up with some redstone and repeaters. And we're going to place, actually, you know, we're going to have to change this up a little bit because we have that like that. We're going to have to place it just like that, or else there'd be interference, you see? So, you know, don't be afraid if you have to alter a few things just to make sure it works, but, you know, in the end, as long as it works, which is good. Connect those up. So that goes ahead and pulls out the 2 corner pieces up here. Awesome. Now that'll link up the very bottom pieces down here. So we're just going to use some redstone for this one. And we can just do simply as I'm going to bring it over here. Connect that up. You see it pulls over here. Perfect. Do the same thing on this side. And perfect again. So now we should have the 4 corner pieces pulled out perfectly. Awesome. Good job, us. Now for the other red, we're going to have to just simply go over here. Bring these 2 pieces down. Just like that. And actually connect those into the other redstone. So there you go. That's 1. And that's 2. So we go ahead. Now we actually have the full X pulled out, which is perfect. Now we can go ahead and we can get rid of this torch, and now we're going to start working on the O, aka the blue wool. Or, you know, whatever wool you're using if you choose to do something else. Basically, you want to place 1 block there on top of the redstone that you had, 1 block higher, and then extend 2 out like this, sort of like a reversed mirrored L. Okay? You can break that block, and this just gives us a good height for where the next one goes. So we'll label this one as the O. We'll put a torch there so we can test everything as we go. And basically, we gotta connect everything that hasn't been connected yet. So, for instance, right here, we're gonna have to connect this bit. We're gonna have to extend this out a little bit, just like that. And then bring it back. And we just want to, in the end, get it up to this point. Just like that. Now, this piece right here, you see it sort of makes like a little C. This is actually going to be a sunken corner piece. Okay, I'll explain, and it may make sense while you're working on it, but I'll try and explain that a little bit later. So basically from here, we just have to go ahead and we need to put a repeater there, or else there'd be interference here. Pull that along, and then link this right up. Actually, there's interference right there, so it looks like we're going to need to not have a corner piece at that moment, which is good. Just pull it up just like normal, link it. And good. Now over here we can do the same thing. Actually, we can get rid of that block and we can just have this. See, it's all about, you know, doing whatever you want to do to make changes, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Look like exactly like this. We're going to have to get rid of that block and place this here, because if we don't, there'll be interference if we try to put this here. So we're going to have a redstone repeater running with a redstone repeater. That pulls out that top section. With the bottom section pulled out, all we need are these 2 other sections right here. So we can go ahead just like that. And then follow, actually we're going to lead a little bit longer, except we're going to have to end right there. Now with this, we're going to have to think a little bit, because we don't want it to interfere at all, but yet again, we don't want it to mess up any of this stuff. So I'm thinking maybe we can actually alter these top bits of the X's a little bit so we can have an easier job at getting around this. So maybe we can have this extend a little bit more. So it just goes straight until we need to go completely down. Just like that. And maybe we can go ahead and link this up, and that'll be perfectly fine how it is. Perfect. We can go back to our blue now, and thinking about the blue, we can connect this right there. So for the other blue, we'll do the same thing. We'll run this right along here so it's right to there. And then we can finally, actually, we're going to have to go one more, my mistake. One more just like that. So there's a little space right there. Then we can go down and we can link it up just like that. So we're going to need repeaters there, and not there, but redstone there, and we can link the redstone up underneath here. You can see that and hear that, all those pistons going, which is awesome. There are 3, then our redstone, which can connect there, and there's the rest. So if we go here, there should be an O taken out. Awesome, perfect, and awesome. Now, like I was saying, and I tried to show this a little bit, basically, you may need to alter some certain pieces of this, and it may, you know, make more sense for you to have a sunken piece like that, like I added, or maybe make more sense to have a corner piece here. Basically, it may not be the same for everyone. It really depends on how you run some of the currents. Say you go ahead and you add like 2 more like this, well then this will change that. So you can really, depending on how you build it, you can alter the paths of the electricity, the redstone, I guess. The only thing you want to do is you want to make sure you keep it actually as slim as you can. You never want to really place a block outside of where the pistons are. So you really use your pistons as a sort of boundary. Of course, above, you're going to have stuff above that. But other than that, side to side, try to keep it minimal, away from like the boundary of the pistons, because you don't want any interference between one next to the other. Plus, remember, you still have to place ones on top. It's exactly the same, but for other ones. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you guys liked this series. I apologize for it being late. I had a whole bunch of corrupted stuff. However, yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And if you did, please leave a thumbs up down below. That really helps me out. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!